been an immense pleasure to introduce and to meet a successful and ever-growing entrepreneur, Mr. B. Ravi, who is a founder and managing director for Reni Logistics and PP Trans. Welcome you, sir.
Hi.
Sir, can you please tell me about your firm and the services that you provide?
Oh, okay. We started off in 2004 operating a small fleet of trucks to cater the empty container transportation from the port to the container yards. And later we grew that company into moving empty containers to stations from Tuticorin to Chennai, from Tuticorin to Cochin, and from Tuticorin to Bangalore at times when it is emergency, otherwise it goes on rail. BP Trans was in progress and it was operating since 2004 till now, and it's been growing strong. And the other company, my logistics company, Reni Logistics Private Limited, that was incepted in year 2013. And it's a incorporated company. And both the companies operated with the same company.
What made you to take a leap into entrepreneurship?
I have been into sales from 1987 onwards, and from 87 till 2013, it's been almost 25 years, and I have been running. And at some point in time, my spouse told me that please stop running for others and start running for your own self. And that is the reason why we started off, since we had an existing organization which is operated under my spouse's name while I was employed. Because when I am employed, I am not supposed to have a company registered in my name. So BP Trans has always been registered under my wife's name. So we had a ongoing company that was in force already. And it made life easy for me to just step in from the employment into entrepreneurship.
What were the biggest initial hurdles to building your business and how did you overcome them?
You see, when you are idle, there will be more than a dozen people who will say, why are you idle? Why don't you just come over and work for me? Or they would say that, sir, business anytime, sir, you can come take it. But when you go to take it, that is when they will come up with so many hurdles, so many challenges that you have to overcome. They'll say, sir, we are ready to give you business, but our credit policy is this, our payment cycle is this, and things like that. So, if you factor about 100 customers, you would be surprised to see that you will be left with 5 or 6 who would actually do business with you. That was a major hurdle, and overcome it is keep on marketing.
Uncle, we heard about the client from Rajasthan has given you a complex situation in shipment.
Yes.
Like we have moved ourselves.
Yeah.
Can you please tell me, earth moving, can you please tell me about that shipment? Can you elaborate about the scenes that have taken place?
See, what happens here is, in India, as per law, when you want to ship any vehicle which is registered, the one of the foremost thing that you need to do is you need clearance from the RTO authority and also from the Commissioner of Police, saying that that vehicle has not involved in any of the unwanted activities and it's a clean vehicle. So now the the challenge here was for my customer was that it's a vehicle bought from the auction yard. So, as per paper, it is, sir, yeah, you can, yeah. So what happens here is a vehicle, a rightful vehicle without any documents. So if you want to ship it as a Ro-Ro means Ro-Ro means it's a ship. It's a ship which can take vehicle which can be driven in sea. Okay. For that particular type of shipment, you need to have clearance from the RTO, clearance from the police department. But for these type of vehicles, we did not have. So we decided to containerize it. Containerizing means to say that you need to bring the dimensions of the vehicle to the permissible dimensions of the container to be taken up. So we dismantled certain parts. It was a partial dismantle. We did not dismantle the entire vehicle because if you dismantle the entire vehicle and assemble it again, so the cost of dismantling and assembling will be more than the cost of the vehicle itself. So there is no point doing that exercise. So we dismantled part of the equipment, and it's a vehicle which was bought from the auction yard. Okay, from a financier. Okay, somebody takes a loan from a financial institution and they fail to pay. So what happens is they seize the vehicle. They seize the vehicle, so the vehicle rightfully becomes the property of the finance company. But when it comes to the documents, they will not have any documents. Because the owner of the vehicle, the registered owner of the vehicle, wouldn't want to give that document to the seizing company. Why would he give it? He's not happy doing so. Sir, you can give it to her.
Insignificant towards your conduct. Like they are scoring in their UG or PG. Does it really matters to you?
No, it doesn't matter. Why it doesn't matter means to say is, it is of course qualification does matter, but more than the qualification, attitude matters. You see, to converse in English, it doesn't make a big difference whether you are a UG or a PG. But to handle a customer, attitude matters a lot. And our primary concern is the attitude of the person, not the amount of marks he has scored. A person who has scored very badly in his school days must have done brilliantly in his UG or PG. But the attitude of a person at the current time matters a lot.
One last question, sir. What is the most unpopular opinion you have on an entrepreneur?
Unpopular opinion on an entrepreneur is that they sometimes, some of the entrepreneurs, they do different things than doing things differently. You know why? See, if their core business is trucking, they should only concentrate on trucking. Maybe they can have brand new trucks deployed instead of used trucks. Maybe they can try higher version capacity vehicles and stuff. But a entrepreneur who is good in trucking should not try operating ships. Okay, when you do some statistics and see you will realize that a person who's operating ships is making so much money in a quarter that a trucking company will not do in a decade. Okay, but you should not try putting all your eggs in one basket and burning your fingers very badly. That is one opinion that which is very, very unpopular to me of entrepreneurs. I have many cases where people have gone bankrupt because of trying this.
What do you like to say to us? Like
To you people, the management trainees, see, I have come across many management trainees in my career, and people who have joined organizations as trainee has become directors of the same organization with only one quality: they stuck around in that organization. They have their tenure in an organization was standard, stable. They have not tried hop stepping and jumping in their employment. They believed in an organization and they stuck around in an organization. See, every organization will have its own problem. Okay. There is no single organization which is perfect in all dimensions. Okay. So you will have to live with the shortcomings of the organization, build skills to overcome it, and stick around in that organization. So what will then happen is you will become a better person than the previous year. You would know how to handle problems. Problems are inevitable. It will be common in all the organizations, in all the industry across the world. Maybe the color of the problem, nature of the problem will differ, but the problems remains unchanged. So you will have to learn the ways and means to handle the problem rather than running away from the problem and finding an opening in yet another organization. So if you have really stood by an organization, the organization will stand by you, and you will be very proud at one point in time to say that I am from this organization. So in my past 30 odd years, I only have 3 organizations. I worked in one organization for 17 years, another organization for 7 years, and then my own company. So this matters a lot, and that would be my piece of advice to you people.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You are mentally satisfied. After you are satisfied, if you try doing any mental process, you will only become mentally unstable. You won't be able to concentrate. If you don't concentrate, you cannot produce. If you don't produce, you are not there in that organization. You see, in management, since I have been a management member, I am telling you, if you are head of a organization, you will always have some needs to develop the company, to make the department bigger, section bigger, department bigger, like that. So let's say I have about 10 people in this office. It can accommodate about 11 people. out of that level, supposing I want to make somebody as the manager of one section or one department, who will I make? I will make somebody a manager who has been stable, who has been doing his duties on a very regular basis. If not anything exceptionally good, at least their duty, bang on target. So that person will get a chance to become the manager of the department. Once a recognition is given to somebody that they are the manager, they will do everything to remain in that position and to grow from there. That is how I grew as the managing director of a company. I did not on one fine day became the managing director of a company. I was a clerk. I then became assistant executive, then a marketing executive, then senior executive, then assistant manager, then sales manager, then branch manager, then regional manager, then general manager. After general manager, my next position was VP. VP is a position which will change the fate of an organization. If you take somebody in the position of a vice president, it will shake up the organization. There were many organizations which were happy to operate the way in which they were operating. If you bring a vice president from somewhere and make him as the vice president of the organization, what will the general manager of that company think? He will think, why did I not get the offer of a vice president? Why did the management not consider me? So that guy will become a non-cooperative guy. And the people below him also will become like that. Okay, so I said, it's enough. I have reached the position of as the VP of an organization. Now I have to do on my own. And it is not easy. You have to continue working. You have to, should not bring your age or your grade into your performance. Okay, when I go to supervise a export stuffing today, we had been to a customer who is exporting onion. Exporting onion. Do you know onion is graded by size? 27 centimeters. Do you know? Today only I got to know. And they have a gadget also to measure the dimensions of an onion. And they have a grading machine to grade the onion. Different plates with different dimensions of onion, and they will change plate to grade the onion. And they hand pick it. They hand pick about 20,000 tons. So that is his cup of tea. He decided, that person, whoever is doing, he decided that I will be a onion exporter. He did not, because he is having onion to be exported, he never said I will become a logistics provider. That is not his cup of tea. That is what I am saying. We have to do things differently, not trying to do different things.